Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving right into a fascinating 60-second slice of football history to see how one, frankly unbelievable managerial decision from 24 years ago completely rewired the sport. We're looking at a true masterstroke that perfectly captures the sheer power of strategy and trust. Let's get right into it. So, our source poses a really intriguing question right out of the gate. Who really lifted that 2002 Premier League trophy? We naturally picture the captain celebrating on the podium, right? The players doing the heavy lifting on the pitch. But the foundation for this specific title, it was forged entirely in the mind of the manager, Arsène Wenger. And look, while modern sports analysis is often obsessed with heat maps and endless data points, which is great, this snapshot is strictly about one singular, massive tactical risk. We're going to break down the mechanics of this one giant leap of faith that literally redefined a football club. Okay. Section 1. A struggling lost winger. Before those legendary seasons, Thierry Henry was absolutely not a guaranteed superstar. Our source notes he arrived at Arsenal primarily as a fast winger who, just hadn't quite clicked yet. In France, he genuinely struggled. Observers even said he looked completely lost at times out on the pitch. He was incredibly talented, sure, but he just lacked that week-to-week consistency you need to be a dominant force. He was widely labeled as a talented but inconsistent player. Just imagine the immense pressure of being a Premier League manager. Your job is literally on the line every single weekend, and you're trying to build a championship contender around that kind of uncertainty? No way. In elite sports, inconsistency is usually the one trait managers run as far away from as possible. Which brings us to Section 2, the center forward gamble. Instead of desperately turning to the transfer market and throwing money at the problem, Wenger manufactured a solution from within. First, he identified the hidden potential in this struggling winger. Second, he made this massive shift, moving Henry to center forward, which is arguably the most demanding, heavily scrutinized role in the entire sport. And third, he essentially bet his entire season on this single tactical move. Talk about rolling the dice. And as you might expect, betting the house on such an unconventional move drew immediate, intense skepticism. At first, people heavily doubted it. And frankly, why wouldn't they? You're handing the keys to a Premier League offense to a player who previously looked lost out wide. The external pressure and the public doubt must have been absolutely staggering for Wenger. Moving into Section 3, trust, vision, and transformation. When we track this historically, the trajectory is just mind-blowing. From a struggling winger in France straight into Wenger's system. Now, I should call out here that our brief snapshot today kind of glosses over some of the middle history, like a brief and incredibly tough stint in Italy at Juventus. So, to be perfectly transparent, we'd certainly need to collect a few more primary sources to map out the full complex timeline of his transfers. But the core truth remains totally unchanged. Henry didn't just adapt to the center at Arsenal. He thrived. He became the league's top scorer and ended up winning the 2002 title. The before and after reinvention here is just undeniable. That lost, inconsistent winger completely vanished and was replaced by a lethal center forward who essentially carried his team to glory. You see, it wasn't about teaching him how to play football from scratch. It was about putting him in the exact right context to maximize his specific world-class talents. That one positional change unlocked the whole shebang. This staggering success wasn't bought with a record-breaking transfer fee. As our source beautifully puts it, it was vision, trust, and a tweak that rewrote a career. That unique combination, seeing what others couldn't, and empowering a player who was actually doubting himself, didn't just win them a title, it literally lifted an entire club into a brand new era. All right, finally, Section 4, the true difference maker. So what's the ultimate concrete takeaway here for us? It's the sheer value of leadership. Great managers don't just manage what's right in front of them. They actively shape the environment for success. Real change often requires betting on immense risk, even when the public is doubting you. And finding true reinvention in the people you already have, that's often infinitely more powerful than just buying new pieces. This whole narrative is absolute proof that managers make the difference. I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on. Put yourself in Arsène Wenger's shoes for a second. You're surrounded by public doubt. Millions of dollars are on the line, and you're facing the intense, unforgiving pressure of a Premier League season. Would you have had the unyielding trust and vision to make that exact same risky call? Thanks for joining this explainer, and keep looking for those hidden tweaks that rewrite history.